When do I put on contour? Oh, at the end? Okay, that's weird. I probably should have like prepared for this video. Like I probably should have practiced before coming in and like trying to do this. That probably would have been a smart thing to do, but too late now. Also, if you are an actual like makeup artist or beauty guru, don't come for me, okay? I'm rusty. All right, I haven't done this in like 3 years. Hello and welcome back, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different on my channel. So I am doing the makeup in books tag, which you probably could already tell from the title of this video or the thumbnail or whatever. Let me just be very clear, I was not tagged in this, okay? This was something that I just decided to do. So I guess backstory. I got this idea because I saw Meredith from Binge Chicken Books do this. And back when she did this was like a year ago. When she did it, I was talking to her about it back when she did it. And I was telling her like, oh my gosh, like this is perfect. Like I used to do like, you know, beauty and makeup and stuff on my channel. So like combining the beauty and the makeup with the books, like this is perfect or whatever. She was like, oh my gosh, you should do it. So I wasn't like formally or officially tagged, but Meredith did say like, oh, like you should totally do it. So here we are a year later. And the reason why it has taken me over a year to get around to doing this is because I was going to do this early, like around this time last year. But my house flooded in February, which you already know. And if you haven't seen that docu-series, you can go check that out. I'll have that link down below in the description. But yeah, the house flooded. And so I wasn't able to be home. I didn't have any of my products. I didn't have my vanity set up. So I wasn't able to do it. So now that I am back home and everything is like set up, my vanity is put together, my drawers are organized, everything is, you know, we're rocking and rolling now, I can finally do this video. So for those of you who don't know, this channel originally started off with me just doing like weird random challenges and stuff or whatever, like playing games and stuff with my friends. And then it kind of evolved into like beauty and makeup and fashion. And then it evolved into like the bookish content that you see today. So given that I used to do a lot of like makeup product reviews and whatever on my channel, I do have a lot of makeup products. I do have a whole vanity setup. So it's going to be interesting for me because first of all, I have not done a full face of makeup since like 2021. So I'm like, I don't even know if I remember how to do my makeup. So this will be an interesting experience for me and you to watch. But also the products that you're going to be seeing me using, I cannot promise you that these products even still exist because it's been so long since I've like done a full face. Some of these products are things that I just have had for a long time. And I know, like, don't talk to me in the comments about like the shelf life and expiration dates and stuff on makeup. Like that's not what we're here to talk about, okay? I do not wear makeup on a regular basis, so these things that I have are just things that I have, and I'm not going out and buying a bunch of new products just for the sake of making this video. So we are going to use what I have. And what that means is some of these products may be discontinued. Some of these products, the formula may have changed. I am going to be using like some of my holy grail products, or what used to be my holy grail products when I used to do like, you know, makeup and stuff. So just be aware of that. If you're like, oh, like, where'd you get this from? Or you try to look up one of the products that I show you, like, it may not exist anymore. And I also don't know like what all the new pop-in stuff is in the makeup world. I've been very out of touch with that for several years. I think I'm gonna try to put this here so I can see myself. Hopefully this is not like distracting or in the way. I can't really see my viewfinder from where I am right now, but hopefully this is not in the way. But yeah, the first prompt is primer, and it says to pick a book that left a lasting impression on you. My holy grail, well, just got caught in my hair. Also, this twist out is really on its last leg, its dying leg. But I am getting my hair done later today, which is why I decided to film this video, because I can then like wash all this makeup off and also wash my hair. But yeah, my holy grail primer is the Pore Putty Pore and Wrinkle Reducer from Peter Thomas Roth. Ooh, I haven't done this in a long time. Still got it. I don't even know what they make now. But this is what we're going to use for a primer. Also, I guess disclaimer, another disclaimer. I am going to try to stick with books that I have read this year. There are questions on here that I felt like if I were to give you the real answer to all these questions, I probably would be talking about like the same 3 books over and over again. So in an effort to not bore you by talking about the same 3 books over and over again, and also not bore you by talking about books that I have talked about 500 times on my channel, I'm going to try to give one answer for each of these questions and also give a different answer for each of these questions, and also give an answer from a book that I have read this year in 2025. So with Autopsy, that is the book that I will say has left a lasting impression on me this year. It is a poetry book that is written by Avanjogia, who you may remember as Beck from Victorious. And I'm not a poetry person. Let me just be very clear. I don't read poetry. So the fact that I was able to read this whole thing in one sitting and actually enjoy and like annotate and highlight some of the poems in this, like that was something that's like stuck out to me that I've never done before and never cared to do before. But yeah, it's basically about just his experience in Hollywood and being in that whole lifestyle. I'll put some of my favorite like poems in that on the screen because I can't remember what they are offhand and I don't feel like stopping to like look it up. So I'll just put them on the screen here. But yeah, that is a book that has left a lasting impression on me. So now that my primer has been applied, I'm going to put this away. And the next prompt is for foundation. And for the foundation, I'm going to be using my Hourglass Vanish Stick. I think that's what this is called. And I'm pretty sure they do still make these. This is in the color Golden Almond. Like weddings, like birthday, like big extravaganza type stuff. This is what I'm likely wearing. This is the only time that I wear this. But I haven't used it in a long time, so I want to have a reason to use this. But this is not my everyday foundation, just so you know. Also, it's been a really long time since I've applied this. So again, I don't really remember. I probably should clip my hair because this is going to be in my way. So one second, let me find a clip. But the prompt for this is your favorite first book in a series. I don't know if I said the prompt yet. The favorite, oh, I should have gone in with concealer first. Okay, one second. Time out. I don't remember how this works. Oh, I think I twisted. This is how you know it's been too long. Back to the prompt. Favorite first book in a series. Christina Lauren's, what is it called? Exception to the Rule. The reason why I like this is because I thought it was really cute. Obviously, it's called Improbable Meet Cute. So, like, this type of stuff that is happening in this series is, like, very unrealistic, but that's, like, kind of the point, right? So, these two people end up meeting, not face-to-face, but they meet virtually because it starts off with the guy sending an email to his professor and he accidentally sends the email like to the wrong email address and it goes to the girl who's the main character in the story who's a student at the school. And then they end up just kind of like chatting and it turns into this thing where every year on Valentine's Day they message each other and say Happy Valentine's Day to each other and they kind of just like catch up on what has been going on in their lives over the last year because they only talk on Valentine's Day every year and then they don't talk any other time of the year. And so that's kind of how it starts off and then obviously it evolves from there. I don't want to like spoil it in case you want to read it because also it's a novella. It's not a very long book to begin with. So it'll be very easy to accidentally spoil this by saying too much, but that's kind of like the setup. That's the premise of this. And it is a romance, obviously. So you kind of probably have an idea of where it's going to go from there. But again, don't want to spoil it for you. Next is concealer. So my Holy Grail concealer. This is the Kat Von D Locket. This is in the shade D33 Warm. Again, don't know if they make this shade anymore. Don't even know if they make this concealer anymore, to be quite honest. But this was my favorite concealer. The prompt is pick a character you wish you could get rid of. So for this, the first thing that came to mind immediately was Dane from Fourth Wing, but I did not read Fourth Wing this year. I read Fourth Wing like 2 years ago. So a character that I read this year that I wish I could get rid of, I am going to say, I think her name was like Molly or Mandy or Mindy. I forget. I hated her, so obviously I don't really remember her name, but she was the sister in Still Beating. So if you've read Still Beating, then you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I hated that girl with a fiery passion. She was just so annoying and I don't feel like she helped the story at all. Like, I feel like the story would have been completely fine if we didn't have her in it, if I'm being honest. There's really not anything else to say about her in terms of this book. I just did not like her because I found her to be annoying. When I say she was annoying, like, this story is basically about this couple. Or, sorry, they're actually not a couple. It's about these two characters who are supposed to be brother and sister-in-law. Like, the guy is engaged to this Mandy character that I hate, or Mindy, whatever her name is. He's engaged to her. He and his sister-in-law get kidnapped and they get held in this guy's basement, and this guy makes them do a lot of like really awful things. And I won't say anything else about the storyline from there, but the sister, the one that the guy is engaged to, she just, I don't know, she's like very insensitive in this book. She's like making everything all about her. And I'm just like, girl, they were like kidnapped and like made to do terrible things by this gross stranger. And you are making it about you. And it is not about you, miss. And I just felt like she was just like very insensitive, like just kind of like pushing things on them and like trying to force them to heal faster than they were ready to heal. Like, I don't know, her character was just like really gross to me. So eyebrows is next. Ooh, fun. Is that normally what I would do next? Maybe. Okay, so we're gonna try something that I haven't done in a long time. I am going to try to use a pomade. Normally when I do my everyday brows, I usually use my Anastasia Brow Wiz. This is normally what I use for everyday brows, but since we're doing a look, or at least attempting to, I am going to try to go in with my pomade. What is the question for brows? A book you think everyone should read. So my first instinct is Ace by Angela Chen, but I have talked about that book so many times over the course of like the last 3 years, so you're probably sick of hearing me talk about it. If you've never heard me talk about it, then like go read that immediately. But if you already know that was probably gonna be my answer for this video specifically, since I'm only doing books that I have actually read this year, I am going to go with Such a Fun Age by Kiley Reid. It's not really a book that I think everyone should read, but I think that out of the books that I've read this year, it is the one that I think, the most that people should read. I think that there's a lot of very interesting commentary in this book about race. This book, I talked about this in my February TBR, because that was when I read it, was in February, Forget a Clue. And it's basically about this girl who's like in her early mid-20s, something like that, and she's a black girl and she is working as like a babysitter. I don't think that she's officially the nanny. I think that she's just like a babysitter for like this rich white family basically. And one day the family calls her in the middle of the night not the middle of the night, but it was like pretty late at night. It might have been like 10 o'clock at night, which is not normally when you call the babysitter. That's usually when you're coming home to relieve your babysitter. But she was like out with her girlfriends celebrating like a birthday or something. And they call her, they're like, hey, like, can you come watch our kid? Like something happened. We just really need to take care of this. Can you come over? They're like, can you just get the kid out of here? We gotta deal with some stuff right now. So she takes the kid to the grocery store. They're just like walking around the grocery store. There's this Karen that comes up to her because the kid is obviously white and she's black, and so this Karen had a problem with that, and so she alerts security, and the security comes over. Mind you, it's security, not an actual police officer, just security comes over. It turns into this whole confrontation situation. There's this guy there who's like filming the whole thing. The woman that the nanny works for, that the babysitter works for, she feels a lot of guilt around the fact that this whole thing happened, and that kind of like none of this would have happened if they hadn't called her in the middle of the night to come like watch their kid or whatever. So she's feeling like so much guilt, and she's like kind of creepy also because she's like trying to learn about this girl's life, but it doesn't feel like it's coming from a genuine place of like, oh, I like her, I want to get to know her. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's just creepy where it's like she's trying to study her more than her trying to like be friends with her. It's creepy. I don't know how to describe it. You have to read the book for yourself. But you also find out some stuff about the person that was in the grocery store that filmed the whole interaction. That person becomes an important character in the story. I think what I found the most interesting about this book was the ending, because I don't feel like the book ends with any real like resolution, but also like that was satisfying to me, which is weird because normally I want some kind of like resolution. It doesn't have to be a happy ending, but I feel like there needs to be a resolution. Also feel like it's an interesting commentary on the fact that like you can't make people change. You can't force people to see the error of their ways. Like sometimes they just have to figure it out for themselves, and sometimes they don't figure it out, right? That's the reality. I think that's what stood out to me the most about this book, is that it's very real. Like I feel like the things that happen in this book are very real and very relatable. Yeah, it was just really interesting. Again, I don't know that everybody should read it, but I think that if I had to pick a book, that's the book that I would have to go with. When do I put on contour? Oh, at the end? Okay. That's weird. Next is eyeshadow. Pick a book with your favorite colors on the cover. This is the Morphe 18 WT Matte Essentials, and I have never used this before, but it was gorgeous when I saw it in the store, and I was like, I feel like I need to own this, even though I probably will never use it. But now I have a chance to use it. I think I'm gonna go in with neoprene and put this on my outer corner. Let's see. Okay. It applies really nicely. It's very pigmented. Oh my gosh. That's good though. That's good though. It's a little more pigmented than I thought it was going to be, but that's good. Prompt question. What was it again? Oh, a book with your favorite colors on the cover. So for this, the first book that came to mind was I'm Glad My Mom Died, because I love the yellow and the pink that's on the cover of that book. I also thought about This Could Be Us. Again, the yellow and the pink. But like I said, I'm trying to only use books that I actually have read this year, and I have not read either of those books this year. Those are books that I read a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, but you get the point. I probably should have like prepared for this video. Like I probably should have practiced before coming in and like trying to do this. That probably would have been a smart thing to do, but too late now. And I want to go in with the color. Oh, where's that? Going with the color Stretch right here. I just want to use this to like set the concealer. Also, if you are an actual like makeup artist or beauty guru, don't come for me, okay? I'm rusty. All right, I haven't done this in like 3 years. Should have used a warmer tone brown for my base instead of using this cool tone brown. That's my mistake, but it's fine. You know, it's all good. We're gonna work it out. I'm going to take this MAC Prep and Prime. Again, don't know if this still exists. Don't know if they still make this, but this is what I like to use on my makeup brushes when I'm going to like do something that has like glitter in it. Basically, I'm gonna go in to Get Ready With Me, and I'm going to place this over top of where I put the concealer. But now that I am basically finished, I will actually answer the prompt question for this. So I am going to go with Practice Makes Perfect for this. Again, more of the yellow and the pink, but this one is better color-wise. I do think that This Could Be Us is probably like the more gorgeous cover out of those 3 that I just named. But as far as like the color, just going based off of favorite colors, my favorite colors are green, yellow, and pink. Not necessarily in that order, but those are the 3. And I think that Practice Makes Perfect has a really good mix of the yellow and the pink, and then also a little bit of the green because of the girl's overalls that she's wearing, I think have a little bit of green in them if I remember correctly. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with for this answer. And now that I'm done ruining my eyeshadow, we're gonna move on to eyeliner. I probably would go with this Revlon Color Stay Lash Serum and Liner. I recently got this, and I do really like this, and I do recommend this. And this is more affordable because it's Revlon, so you can get this at like, you know, CVS and stuff like that, whatever. The prompt for eyeliner is pick a dark and mysterious book. So I'm gonna go with the first 5-star that I read this year, which was We Used to Live Here by Marcus Klewer, I think is the author's name. I can't remember. But this book was fantastic. I know that there are people who don't like this book, and that's okay. But then I also know there are people that love this book, and like, you are on the right side of things, okay? You're on the right side of history, because that book was amazing. It is very dark, very mysterious. You get to the end and you almost still don't know what's going on. And I love all of the Reddit threads and theories and videos and stuff. Like, it's one of those books that like, the book itself is a mystery, not just the plot, but like the book itself is a mystery. There's like Morse code, there's hidden messages. Like, I cannot wait for more books in this series. I know that this book is supposed to be part of a series, or at the very least part of like a universe. I don't believe that the author has started working on the next book in this series, but I am hopeful that we are absolutely going to get one, because there are so many unexplained things that like I need to know. And normally I don't like it when books have like all these unexplained things. I hate when I get to the end of the book and things are not resolved, or I still don't have answers. That usually really pisses me off. But for some reason in this book, it just worked, okay? I don't even know how to describe this book without spoiling it, because there are so many like twists and turns and so many things that it's just like, you have to read it to like understand. But basically it's about this woman who just bought a house with her partner, and she's home alone one day. Her partner like went out. I don't know if they like went to the store or went to work, whatever. They're like not home. So our main character is home by herself, and this family comes up and like knocks on the door, and they're like, hey, like, we used to live in this house. Do you mind if I like show my family around the house? Which already is like very weird. Like, absolutely not. You cannot come into my house. I don't know who you are. Like, no. But she's like, sure. Like, yeah, she's very much a people pleaser. So she like doesn't know how to say no sometimes. And usually she relies very heavily on her partner to be the one to say no to things for her, but since she's home by herself, her partner can't do that. And so she lets his family come in and things happen, and the family basically ends up overstaying their welcome. They end up staying much longer than, you know, she had anticipated them being there. And yeah, it gets weird. It gets weird, it gets twisty, it gets confusing. I can't say anything because I don't want to ruin anything. Just read the book, okay? It's very good. Okay, the next one is blush, and I actually don't normally wear blush. This is, first of all, this bottle is disgusting because this is not only my holy grail, this is like holy grail, special occasion, and everyday. Do I have like 6 other blushes in my drawer? Yes, I do. But I find that I pretty much only wear this one because this one just applies so much better. This is the Westman Atelier. Again, please don't judge me on how dirty this bottle is. I don't even know if you can see it or not. But Westman Atelier, this is in the shade, I have Bichette. I don't know how you say this. But this is the Baby Cheeks blush stick. Love this. Oh my gosh. Love this so much. Let's see how this applies. I like to apply this with my finger. What's the prompt for this again? Oh, a book with cringe-worthy romance. First instinct is The Kiss Curse because that book was just awful from start to finish. Loved the XX, but The Kiss Curse was not it. But I did not read that book this year, so I cannot use that. So I am going to say The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas. Definitely, in my opinion, had enough like cringe-worthy romance in it to last a lifetime. This book is, again, another book that I think I talked about in my February TBR, or I don't know, I talked about it in some video that I did recently. Maybe it was my self-destruct list, I can't remember. But this basically follows a girl named Rosie, who her apartment basically comes crumbling down on her head and she has to live somewhere else while they're repairing it. So she decides that she is going to use her spare key to go stay in her friend's apartment. While her friend is away on her honeymoon. It turns out her friend had already told her cousin that he could use the apartment. So now they're both kind of using this apartment and it's super awkward. And it doesn't help that our main character, Rosie, already had a crush on her friend's cousin. And so now they're living together. And I forget, I don't know if this is like fake dating or something. I can't really remember what the tropes are for this book. It wasn't the most memorable book, I'll be honest. But yeah, the romance was just kind of cringy. It was just okay. It wasn't great. It was fine. So yeah, that's the book. Out of all the books that I read this year, that's probably the one that I would say is the cringiest, I guess. Okay, they want me to do highlighter. I'm not doing highlighter before I do contour. So normally my holy grail contour would have been the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour cream kit, but mine is so old that it is like dried out. I need to buy a new one. I need to buy another one. So I think I'm gonna try to use this Fenty matchstick in the shade Truffle. I will be completely honest and say that I do not like this cream contour stick personally. I never really have. Because I feel like this color, it's not the stick itself, it's the color that I don't like. But yeah, they just end up looking a little like muddy and stuff on me, and it's just not my favorite thing. But this is the only cream contour that I have right now because my Anastasia one is dried out. I'm gonna use this to set the cream. And this is why I don't know why they have you put on blush before you put on your contour, because this is definitely gonna cover up the blush that I just put on, and it's gonna make it super muddy. Yeah, that's much better. What was the question again? Oh, contour. What books surprised you? What was I talking about earlier? I think I was talking about like why I don't like this contour. Editing me here. I just realized that I never went back and answered the contour question, so I'll just do that now, I guess. I'm pretty sure my answer was going to be Past, Present, Future by Lynn Solomon. This is the sequel to Today, Tonight, Tomorrow. The first book was a cute, lighthearted, funny YA romance that wasn't by any means deep. The first book ends with a typical romance ending, but what I liked about the second book was that it picks up a few months later, and it gives a more realistic look at what happens after the typical romance ending. It delves into them as college freshmen trying to make a long-distance relationship work and the challenges that they face along the way, one of the biggest challenges being mental health. So I was definitely surprised by the depth that this book had. And now that I've answered that, we can jump back into the video. I guess we can go back now to highlighter, since that was a step that I skipped. So highlighter is a book that brightens your day, and for this I'm gonna say Check and Mate by Hazelwood. I quite enjoyed this book. I loved all the little like things that you get about chess. Granted, some of it is a little, you know, not quite accurate, but like it still was entertaining and I still enjoyed reading it. I can't see myself that well because the camera's in my way. So I'm like trying to see what I'm doing and I can't really see. The next step is mascara, and I think instead of mascara, or maybe like in addition to mascara, I'm gonna try to do lashes, which it's been a really long time since I've done this. Cool, that ended up being way easier than I thought it was gonna be. I'm very surprised at how easy that was. I'm gonna use my Glossier because this is a more like light coverage mascara. I just want to kind of put something to darken my lashes a little bit and kind of blend them into the falsies. Did I say what the prompt was for mascara? Oh, pick a long book. The longest book that I've read was Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. It is the second book in the Knock 'Em Out series. It picks up kind of like where the last book left off, which I don't want to say what it is in case you haven't read that book, so I really can't say too much about this, but it was good. I think the first book was better, but this book wasn't bad. It just wasn't as good as the first one, and I do plan on continuing on to the third and final book in the series. Okay, so the next step is lipstick, so I'm going to use a lip liner first. This is NYX lip liner in Chestnut, which I'm pretty sure they do not make this shade anymore, but this is my holy grail. I absolutely love this color. They need to bring this back. I've tried a couple of different ones. Like I've tried ones from like Morphe and MAC, and none of them are Chestnut. Like I can't find anything to replace this yet. So for lipstick, the question is your favorite kiss in a book, which is actually kind of comical because I don't think I ever paid attention to that. I'm trying to think what. I read a lot of romance books, right? So there's always kissing and stuff happening. I've also been like on this dark romance kick that I've been buddy reading with Donna. So like lots of kissing is happening, but do I remember any of it? No, like none of it is retained in my brain. I cannot remember a single scene where the characters like kiss specifically. I guess I'll go with Betting on You by Lynn Painter. I remember vaguely that there's a scene, I think it's when they kiss for the first time. Betting on You basically follows this girl named Bailey who meets this guy at an airport. I think it's in like middle school or something, or like freshman in high school, something like, you know, that age bracket. She meets this guy who's like a couple years older than her at an airport. They're both on their way from Alaska back to Nebraska or somewhere. I forget where they were flying to. And they have like a really like unpleasant exchange. They end up sitting next to each other on the plane, and they basically are like getting on each other's nerves the entire time. And then you fast forward a couple of years, and now I think they are living in the same town or going to the same high school or something like that. And they end up working together, I think, over the summer. Maybe it's during the school year, but they end up working together. They're co-workers now. And it's very much like enemies to lovers, basically, is the moral of the story. It was cute. I enjoyed it. But yeah, the kiss part, I don't quite remember. But that's the one that I would say is like the freshest in my brain. And as you can see, it wasn't that fresh. And then the last prompt is powder, which I think the idea is like your final like setting powder, like goes over your whole face. I don't want to do a powder. I want to do a setting spray instead of a setting powder. So this is going to be my powder for all intents and purposes. But the prompt is your favorite last book in a series. And I don't think that I have finished any series yet this year. I don't think I've read any final books in the series. I'm going to have to go with Death Note. That is the last. I'm on the last book currently. I'm like halfway into the last volume of Death Note, so I'm about to finish the series. I have like 200 pages left, and then I can finally say that I finished the series. So I'm going to have to go with that for my answer because it's the closest thing that I've gotten to finishing a series. And so here is the finished product. This is how it turned out. I can't really tell what it looks like on camera. It looks fine in person. It doesn't look exactly like how I wanted it to, but it looks fine. Considering the fact that I haven't done a full face of makeup in like 3 years, I think it looks pretty good. Hopefully it looks as good on camera as it looks in real life. But yeah, this is the finished look. This is the final product. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think. Actually, don't let me know what you think, because if you don't like it, I don't want to know. You can keep that thought to yourself. But if you made it this far to the video, consider yourself tagged. I'm not going to tag like specific people because I don't know like which of my like booktube friends are into makeup and who's not or whatever. Although I do believe that Dee Dee is a makeup artist, so I may specifically tag her because I do want to see her do this. But if you made it this far to the video, just consider yourself tagged. I would love to see some other folks try this out and see what other makeup looks you guys come up with. But I kind of want to do another video or something where I get to incorporate like makeup in books so I can try out some other like eyeshadow looks specifically. So if you have any ideas, let me know that down below in the comments. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you are not already subscribed, and check out some of my other content. And yeah, I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.